Okay, hello everyone. I'm Muhammad Hanan Al Abshi, and this time I'll be telling you the story about the goose girl. So, once upon a time, there lived a princess who they call Annie from the kingdom of Kildare. She grew up listening to her aunt and, of course, learned on how to communicate with other humans. And believe it or not, nature and, of course, animals. Years later, after the aunt's departure from the Kildare kingdom, the mother, Annie's mother specifically, forbade her from getting close with the animals. And throughout the years, Annie was not a confident girl because she lived under her mother's rule, and things got even downhill, gone more downhill, like really downhill, after her father passed away. Rest in peace to that guy, by the way. Rest in peace. Okay. At the morning, when they mourn and stuff, the queen announced that the next ruler will be the second child of her. This shocked Annie and seriously made her confused. And after the morning, sometimes later or even a few weeks, probably later during that day, after the morning, Annie confronted her mother about why wasn't she like why wasn't like Annie was like, why wasn't I chosen, mom? And long story short, the mother explained to her about why it's probably about the tradition, but short answer here is that the firstborn child, which was Annie, she was strange because she's able to speak with animals in nature, and her third child, I forgot the name, probably don't even know the name because I don't really care about her. She was too young, so of course, the mother, in her logic, chose her second. Annie had no choice, but of course, not her head. And with Celia, she left Kildare with Celia. On the way to pay her, something did not feel right with Annie. She began to feel alienated from Celia, and Celia here. She took her dang identity and seized her powers. Oh well. Wait, cut. Well, days after wandering the forest, Annie found Clissa's house. And Clissa here lived in her home, of course, with her son named Finn. After she entered that home, of course, spoke to Kalisa. Kalisa told Annie that you can go with Finn to the bear market when it's open. Maybe you can find the king, said Kalisa. Of course, Annie and Finn went to the market when it opened. And by coincidence, they met the king. And long story short, the king assigned Annie as the goose girl. At the moment, Annie was like really struggling to have a relationship with someone until she met Enna. Okay? Enna worked there with the chickens, and then she met Jock, Jock, or whatever. I don't, I don't really care about the pronunciation of the names. Jock, which it was a dog that was injured that time, and then she met another like other workers, and then this guy named Garrick.
Saya kaget tuh.
Until one day, Anna told Annie that Kildare was about to attack Bayern. This made Annie really panic, and that that was the right reaction because there will be no one that will be able to prove her real, like true identity. The next morning, a group of thieves attacked a flock of geese. Annie asked the wind to pick up the dirt from the ground that would go with it and, of course, attack the thieves. Everyone in the kingdom hailed her as the hero. Annie was horrified to know that she would be invited by the king to the kingdom. And Annie was afraid to see Selah in the kingdom. And then Annie escaped from there and ran to Glissa's house and met her old car, Talon, which wanted to get her identity back. The two met the prime minister and convinced of her true identity that she was Annie the goose lady or the goose girl. After that, they informed that Celia and the prince they were about to get married by the lake. When Annie was about to confront Celia, she was shocked because Carrick was about to marry Celia. And that was because he's the prince. Later, the battle happened between the two, which was Annie and Celia. But long story short, the prince was able to stop both of them before anyone was about to be killed. Days later, Annie was called to the kingdom to prove that Kildare was in fact was not about to attack Bayern. And then in the end, Carrick and Annie decided to get married, and then she became the official crown princess. And that's it for the story. Thank you for listening, and I apologize to you if there's any mistake. And that's it for me. We'll see you next time.